There is no one here.
Damn! He's not here? Let's go, Iba.
Wait.
What's wrong? Is there someone here?
No living organisms detected.
Then...
No living organisms detected.
You mean...
Let's search the area. We might be able to find something. On Sunday night, you saw Iris's body here?
Yeah. Her dead body was right here on the workbench.
Date, the forklift. Doesn't it seem off somehow? It hasn't been in use for some time, but something is peculiar about it.
No. This can't be.
Iris. Iris.
Have you settled down? The scene is being inspected without you. This time the body didn't disappear. However, you lost consciousness. I didn't expect you to faint. Seeing that corpse must have been incredibly shocking. I did not predict you to be the fainting type. I suppose humans are unpredictable. Now that you're back, let's get back to business. You are conscious, are you not? Are you at a loss for words? Date, don't let negative thoughts consume you. Thinking that Iris died because of me. If I never took her to Ota's, this wouldn't have happened. If you truly believe that, then your brain is completely rotten. Or perhaps when you saw the corpse, your head became filled with images of blooming yellow dandelions.
What?
Oh, you're talking now. Was I correct? If you consider the situation logically, even an elementary school student would understand.
Huh?
Fine. Allow me to pluck some of those dandelions from your mind. I will ask 3 questions. Please answer honestly. First question. The cold storage warehouse was not in regular operation. But even so, the AC was on, and a minus 58-degree temperature was maintained. Why is that? I see you are back to making jokes. I am glad to hear that, but please stay focused. So the on-off switch was broken, and they couldn't turn it off, right? But they could have shut off the electricity. I find it hard to imagine they would have left it running for no reason. The bills would have been expensive. Why? For what purpose?
To preserve something.
Yes. Let us move on to the next question. Second question. There was something strange about the corpse. Do you remember what that was? That is a unique factor. But there was something else, something more peculiar. What is unnatural about that?
Isn't it strange? The culprit hid the body because they didn't want it to be found. But then they cover it with a cloth. That implies they thought that someone would eventually find it.
But do you know for a fact that the culprit hid the body? And even if they were responsible, it is not uncommon that murderers feel a sudden urge of remorse or pity for their victim.
So the cloth was a sign of pity?
That is a possibility.
The culprit was afraid that the body would be discovered, so they hid it under the hood. But why there? The ocean is right here. If they really wanted to hide the body, they could have put weights on it and sunk it into the water.
As I stated earlier, the culprit may not have hidden the body, and even if they did,
They showed pity by hiding it in the warehouse rather than dumping it somewhere.
better than the ocean, I would imagine.
The culprit was afraid that the body would be discovered, so they hid it under the hood. But why there? The ocean is right here. If they really wanted to hide the body, they could have put weights on it and sunk it into the water.
But we do not know for certain that the culprit was attempting to dispose of the body. There is something more unusual. What is unnatural about that?
Isn't it strange? The culprit hid the body because they didn't want it to be found. But then they cover it with a cloth? That implies they thought that someone would eventually find it.
I explained earlier. The body may not have been hidden by the culprit. And even if they were responsible, it is not uncommon that murderers feel a sudden urge of remorse or pity for their victim.
So the cloth was a sign of pity?
That is a possibility.
Iris's body was completely frozen. The temperature read -58. With Iris's weight... Just wondering, but how much do you weigh?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady that?
105 pounds.
I see. 105, huh? It should have taken about 18 hours to freeze solid. But we were...
Wait a moment. Before you draw your conclusion, allow me to ask my final question. Question 3. 2 days ago, Sunday night, you found a dead body in the cold storage warehouse. But afterward, you visited the Sagan household and discovered that Iris was in fact still alive. Why?
Because we saved her. We saved her and so Somnium.
Date, think logically. What occurs in dreams does not affect reality. And parallel worlds? That is even less possible. So if that's the case...
What I saw on Sunday must have been a hallucination. It was a dream.
No, Date. You're overthinking it. You saw the corpse. But Iris was alive. Which means...
I see. I understand now. Maybe we're thinking about this all wrong. Iris isn't alive. She's dead. I saw the ghost of Iris.
Mr. Date, it's time for your medication.
You mean?
You've got it. The corpse is completely frozen. Getting a more thorough look would require removing the cloth. However, we would not want to be disrespectful. You can use a certain vision mode instead.
I don't believe it.
The stomach is swollen slightly. She appears to have been pregnant.
How?
Do not worry. The uterus does not contain a fetus.
You mean after she was killed?
No, the fetus was not present in her body when she was killed. She must have been killed after giving birth. The distended stomach does not immediately shrink after birth. The expanded uterus takes some time to return to its normal size. This evidence makes one thing perfectly obvious.
This corpse isn't Iris. It's someone else.
Which means...
Iris is still alive.
Not necessarily. She could be alive. We haven't confirmed that yet. Multiple stab wounds with a single-edged, sharp object to the victim's back. Judging by the size and shape of the marks, the weapon was most likely a kitchen knife. This matches what you said on Sunday.
So this is the body I saw then. Is there an estimated time of death?
Impossible to determine. This body has been completely frozen for at least 10 years.
10 years? She was killed more than 10 years ago?
Exactly. Her identity is unknown. Her killer is also unknown. But there is one likely suspect.
Who?
Let's consider the clues. The scene: Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse. Sunday night, we saw So here. And there is something else about So Sejima. We witnessed someone similar to Iris being stabbed repeatedly in So's Somnium.
But it wasn't Iris. It was this woman.
That is highly likely.
What we saw was So's memory from more than 10 years ago.
I believe that is the case.
Renju and So?
But we still do not know where Renju is.
That means that we need to talk to
So Sejima.